Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is W and Fall Conference. We are back live. And I guess what is the better way to start a day than to talk about the soft launches of the games? And to discuss this very interesting and very hot topic, we have cool speakers from AppLovin, Belka Games, and Geewa. So I believe we already have the guys in the studio. Hi, guys.
Hi, Igor. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi everyone. So we are super
Morning.
excited for your talk. And Keith, over to you right now.
Okay, great. Well, hello, everyone, and good morning. My name is Keith Kawahata. I'm the head of games here at AppLovin. And just a little bit about us, AppLovin's global technology platforms provide developers the most powerful integrated set of solutions to grow their businesses all in one place. We were founded in 2012, and really what we're all about is enabling developers and studios of all sizes to create popular immersive content and really chart-busting hits. So games like Matchington Mansion, Smashing 4, Clockmaker, and Game of War, and Wordscapes, just to name a few of the titles that we've helped in this way. We're headquarters in Palo Alto, but we have studios and offices globally and worldwide. And yeah, that's a little about me and about AppLovin. When I turn it over now to Milos, tell us a little bit about yourself and Geewa.
Good morning, guys. We found company in 2005 as a multiplayer game company, cross-platform games. We succeed on Facebook with Billiard Game Pool Live Tour, but we are most known as a Smashing 4 game developer, which is in top 300 top grossing games. And from this year, we are a happy member of AppLovin family. Then we are working close also with Keith and other guys on a system which he described and mentioned.
Hello there, I'm Alex from Belka, and so the Belka is casual game developer, mobile, and it's famous mostly for Clockmaker. I hope you know about that game. Also, we have such titles like Funky Bay, and for right now, we have a successful new launch like Solitaire Cruise. And if we speak about our company, for right now, the Belka is more than 300 teammates, and for right now we have more than three offices. So I think we're quite successful. So because our game like Clockmaker is on the gross top of the USA. So. And from the previous years, in the previous year, we joined the AppLovin family, so we're strategic partners right now, and it's great. So that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Alex and Milos. And what we're here today to talk about is a topic that I know both for you all as CEOs and for your studios is something that you're extremely experienced with, and that you are actually going through right now with a few products, as well as having gone through very recently, and that being soft launch. And I think the best place to start, because so many times in my career at every different company and in every different studio, I think we all use similar words, but oftentimes will mean slightly different things. And so let's start off by defining for your studios, like, what is soft launch? How do you define a soft launch, and why is it important for your studio? And Alex, let's start with you for Belka Studio. What is soft launch, and why is it important?
Okay, for Belka, the soft launch is extremely important. Because, you know, we do not want to waste money on the global launch when we should to scale. And we definitely need to be sure that our game is ready to global launch, and we can scale. We can scale this game, we can manage user acquisition. So Also, we need to be sure that our new game is rich product fit, so our users enjoy it. So soft launch is extremely important for us. But you know, we have a lot of launches before soft launch. We call it tech launches. So it more fast, and we have a lot of tech launches before we reach soft launch, and before we reach global launch as well.
Yeah, so I remember from our prior discussions that you all have a very well-defined process and multiple phases. Soft launch, you would define soft launch as that final phase, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then before that, you have a technical launch, which you do much faster and more raw. And then even before that, you have other kinds of testing that you do as well, correct?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and then I know, Milos, I see you nodding, but how would you define, and how does Geewa define soft launch for your studio? Is it similar? Are there any differences, and why is it important?
Yeah, it is very similar what Alex described, and I will start from end. Then soft launch, what is for us. Soft launch is launch when we can measure KPIs like number of matches and day one retention, because this is what we are focused in first for first data from soft launch. But before that, because we are doing multiplayer games, then test of infrastructure, that everything works on client side, on server side, and networking. It's exactly the reason why we used similar tactic what as a Belka, as Alex described, and there is a few technical launches. And maybe you all guys known from experience of Supercell when they launch Brawl Stars, then they many times describe how important is for PvP launch both platforms together, because simply friends won't play to friends, and doesn't matter if they have Androids or iOS devices. Simply they won't play together. Then reason is start with these technical launches, and after that soft launch is when we looking to day one retention, and we are ready from a technical perspective. And before that, of course, is many. It's not launches, but it's more play tests when we are testing core game, and there is again many ways how we are testing that internally or with external services, with friends, which give us very good feedback to if we are on the track to proper soft launch.
You know, I always say you can tell a good friend from a fake friend if they give you like actual negative feedback. If your friends and family are like, oh, it's great, it's all your games are great, you're like, we know all of our games aren't great. So on the, you had mentioned KPIs, Milos, and some of the specifics that I think are relevant for Geewa's titles, because you all make competitive PvP games. But KPIs, I think, is a great topic, because oftentimes I see at conferences people will shy away from discussing these or pretend like you know, we might have some secrets. But instead, I'd like to talk about that for a moment and share with the audience. So, like, what KPIs do you look at the different phases in order to make like the decision? Is this a good game? How much do we tweak it? Do we keep going, etc.? Like Milos, starting with you, because you mentioned retention. Is that the first thing you look at? Do you look at something else before that? How does that evolve during your soft launch process?
I think this is already I think very wide known, but I will summarize it. We definitely start with soft launch looking to engagement. Engagement is for us number of matches, people playing each other on first day or second day, and this comes to day one retention. There is also a very important thing which we are looking when we launch game, and this is onboarding funnel. Then how good is tutorial and we improving steps in the tutorial. This is most important first step when we are focusing on. After that, it's midterm retention, when everything is okay and we are about 40% day one retention. This is our milestone. Then if we are there, then we are looking to midterm retention, day 3, day 7. when we are looking to achieve about 20%, and after that is monetization. Then it's step by step, and at first, if and what I truly believe, and in the history of Geewa, we confirmed this many times. Unique games. If you create unique game, you have some benefit on the market, and this is what we are focused on. Then probably in sometimes you spend longer time in soft launch, but it's valuable because it's something what players recognize as a unique, and talking about that, and was case of Smashing 4-2. Then this is how we are looking to KPIs step by step. At first engagement, at second midterm retention, and as a last monetization. Because
so very sequential in the way you all look. From retention, and then more like days, and then monetization, deeper metrics as well. Alex, how does that fit with Belka Studio and with your technical and soft launches? Like, which KPIs do you look at in which phases?
Actually, we have the same experience like Milos. Milos said, but for the first on the first tech launches, which we are trying to launch as fast as we can, and usually takes 2 or 3 months. And for these stages, we try to understand product metrics. We call it product metrics. And yes, it's all about engagement. Also, we try to understand and see. We try to measure the first session length, and sometimes we look for what is open rate with our games. Also, when we on the first tech launches, when we are trying to understand what the engagement, we make we make content only for 3 days, so we can measure day 1 and day 3 retention. According to this, we can predict what day 7 and day 40 will be. On these stages is enough for us to make a decision. Should we change core gameplay or something in the game, or should we move on the next stage? And the next stage, the next tech launches is of course about improving our product, but also we try to measure monetization like Milos do, and also after that we try to just before soft launch, we try to understand, can we scale the game? So we try to understand engagement, monetization, and
scalability.
Yes, can we scale the game, make a big UA? We try to understand what the CPI and throws. Yes, because you can create a great game with great engagement, and even it will have good monetization, but sometimes you can face the situation you just can't scale it because the price of the users are too high. So we moving through these three stages: engagement, monetization, and
scalability. This is logical, and you know what I also find. So what you guys are describing, I think, is very consistent with successful studios that I've worked with and seen in the past, and that we see within the AppLovin portfolio and on the AppLovin platform side as well. One thing that I think is additionally helpful for everybody to understand is, because you have similar process, and this is similar to other successful studios. How did you arrive at that process? Or maybe better, putting that question better, how has your soft launch process evolved over time as you as a studio have learned? Was it different for some of your earlier games? Milos, you mentioned all the way back to Facebook. Alex, I know that you all have had many games in your pipeline that you have chosen not to release. So maybe starting with you, Alex, how has that process changed over time to arrive at the process that you see now?
Actually, you're right. You're right, Keith. We kill a lot of game on soft launch stage. you know, according to my experience, there are two main ways for develop a new game and reach soft launches. The first way, we try to do that, and this is a way when you are trying to try to develop completely polishing game. For example, without live ops, but it's completely polished, and it's take a lot of time, even years. And hope that users, gamers, your audience will enjoy it and launch it. You believe in your game. You're doing what the game in which you believe, and it's a long way. And the second way, we try to do that, and twice we saw on the soft launch that game are not rich product fit, and it couldn't monetize, and it haven't proper monetization. So we decided to make it in another way, more fast way. So we believe that you can understand if your game, of course, I'm telling about casual games, because mid-core and hardcore, they take more time to understand. So you can understand if your game will be successful more faster. You need to create only core gameplay, and only your game DNA will show if will it be successful or not. And you can make it fast. For example, for us, it's about 3 or 4 months, and we choose that way. And we made a lot of new concepts, new idea within this year and previous. And only one Solitaire Cruise was reach our metrics which were expect. So it's became successful. So right now we believe that we need to be as fast as we can if we talk about software.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. I think that, and it was something I was assuming in your evolution as you spoke about having only like 1 day or 3 days of content. I think that this is a principle that is often understood or talked about, but not achieved by many studios. I think it takes a great amount of discipline to say, okay, we know this game isn't complete, but we will launch it and we will make decisions based on this incomplete. Because I think sometimes we can tell ourselves, or our studios or our teams can tell themselves, well, if we just have this, it's not done, so they don't understand it yet. You're like, well, it is done for 1 to 3 days. They do understand those days. If they're not getting it now, you're not going to get people back on day 7 that left, right? It's not going to all of a sudden get better. And so I think the way in which your studio has evolved from making full games, a lot of investment, not just time and money, but emotional investment, to where you are now, which is only a couple months, which is extremely fast to take a game to a technical launch, I think is a powerful tool for your studio, both culturally, emotionally, and of course, product and commercially. And Milos, how is that? There are mentions of kind of differences between genres, which is one of the kind of themes I'm picking up between you all studios. How has the process evolved for you and your studio? And is it different, and in what ways from Alex on the Belka side?
I think it's great to hear and compare how works like Belka with mostly single player games and we with multiplayer games. And I would like mention.
I wouldn't call them single player. I would call both of your games multiplayer. It's about kind of the synchronous PvP aspects of it.
Right. And how Alex mentioned this 3-day content, and then they have enough numbers after 3 days, and so and can predict what this game can be. For us, one of the great experiences was then we find out with Outest, with Smashing 4, when we soft launched it, then we saw then people playing more than we expected. Then, for example, we expected then people will play about 10 to 20 30 matches at max, then there was players would play 100 matches and more. And this, of course, gives you completely different different way how they consume content. And of course, you have all these techniques when you limit them, but they are playing a lot. And again, these have two consequences. One is very bad because they consume and they spend time and probably they will enjoy game and they don't want continue on next days. But other hand, they really helps liquidity because they are staying in the game and playing against other players. And of course, people which spend in the game 100 matches per day, they are more skilled than players which spend 10 matches during day. Then this is very important topic for every like synchronous game which solving this matchmaking issue. And there is two outcomes for us. First, what we are focusing now with new games which we have in a production and we are testing even before soft launch. Then we are looking to create them as a PvP, but this second P is bot, is computer, and there is no problem with these type of things. And I am comparing it with sport. Imagine then you put 2 tennis rackets to 2 beginners and say like enjoy the game. Nobody enjoy it. It's better when a good trainer like exactly properly hitting ball to this beginner, but not to beginners. And it's simple, similar here. This is one big improvement which we are doing during like first phase of the soft launching and during this technical launch and playtest. And second, very important is putting marketing techniques to development games to production as soon as possible. And this is test different type of art, like style of the heroes, and we start with Smashing 4 when we have 4 candidates for the name, and during this marketing test we recognize what have best CTR. And then Smashing 4 is born from this idea, and now we are putting more and more things to it and testing if this game modes will be better than other one. I think these techniques really helps and give some proper vision to the team. Okay, this is way which we are focusing right on this game mode at first. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what I'm hearing from as a real similarity between both of your studios and that I've heard broadly is like becoming increasingly disciplined, metrics driven. Like almost any segment of the funnel or development process can be optimized significantly. And what that turns into at the end of the day, and I think what is very useful in explaining to others, like kind of the impact of this process and the decisions and the culture that each of you have in your studios, is to go through like an example from your recent past. And so Alex, like if you could, because everybody can go out and they can play Solitaire Cruise right now, an amazing game. I think I'm pretty deep into it already and spent quite a bit of money, don't tell my girlfriend, on it. How has that, like as by way of example of your soft launch process, how has that game changed from the initial phases, either that technical launch or even where it was in concept? How has it evolved to the product that everybody sees today? Because that's oftentimes I think what outsiders will miss. If I just start playing some other game today, right? Some big popular game, I'll be like, oh, it was always like this. And you ask the development team, they're like, no. And so what is the early Solitaire Cruise like, and how did that change?
Yes, this was fun actually, and for Solitaire Cruise we changed the game on early stages totally twice or even more.
Mm.
The Salter Cruise gone through all these technical launches we used to do right now. So at the first we tried to understand what the product metric. Also, I think that Salter Cruise meet success. You know why? Because on the early stages we try to understand about our core game players, users, as much as we can. So we find out what are they interested in, what they age, gender, and so on. So we try to understand our users, our audience as much as they can. So we changed the settings of the game, we changed the graphic of the game, we changed the meta game a lot during these tech launches. For example, at the first it was like map with points, and the progress was to complete these points. And we changed it just for
Oh, like a saga map kind of thing. Like yeah.
And we changed it for the just one screen with one button. So and we saw that it improved our engagement, and so we make a lot changes like this to reach the final stage when we understand our monetization and scalability. So it was fun but tough.
I was just gonna say, like, that's, I think, one of the more difficult types of things to do in game development is to build something, whether it's an entire product or a big part of a product, like a map progression system and feature, and then to recognize that, wait a minute, this is just one button is better than all of this, this art we created, animations, like balancing all of these things that we might have put into it. We have to let that go. The metrics are very clear as to which is better. Even testing that, I think, is sometimes difficult for teams to bring themselves to. So it's a kudos to your studio that you do that and you're disciplined about it and you make those decisions. So the game we see now, we know there was one time a map inside of it, and it's changed quite a bit. Milos, for you in Smashing 4, is there similar? I know in synchronous PvP games there can sometimes be massive changes, but they happen in maybe less visible ways. But I don't want to lead you too much. How did Smashing 4 change or not during the soft launch phase? Or even how is one of your games now? Sort of what sort of changes, how significant, and where focused are they? Are those changes happening for your types of products?
Yeah, frankly, Smashing 4, we didn't change so much from the soft launch, but we changed it a lot during prototyping because formally was idea create and working title was Pull the Flag, like Capture the Flag. Then there was four heroes and princes who represents flag, and we realized really quickly that it's too complicated for start for the players, and we switched to typical deathmatch than what is Smashing 4 now, and we didn't change a lot. But completely opposite story is our upcoming title, which is now in soft launch, is Smash Rivals. And what we did with Smash Rivals, there was many huge changes in the concept during soft launch, when it was more core, and we switched it to more casual way. And what we did, we parallelly test 2 games under 2 names, Smashcasters and Smash Rivals, and have same advertisement campaigns, and check which games work better for same audience. Because as Alex said, it's very important to identify your audience. Then we have identified this audience and test it in the same time. And it was really interesting thing for us. And definitely we won't continue in it, because for the synchronous games, I think it's very important. And I strongly believe in similar situation if you ask guys from Supercell, from any games, when they testing game modes, how they are testing them. I'm sure they test it for first-time players in different regions and compare which game modes works best and offer this as a first game mode. Then I think for this type of games, game modes is very, very important, and testing in this way completely makes sense. And of course, you have to know what is your target audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is absolutely something I've heard repeated time and again for synchronous PvP games, is the reality that game modes, a bit like what Alex has said, like you don't know what your users are or like what they want until like kind of you interact with them with a product. For synchronous PvP games, that interaction is often comprised within the game mode. And whether you're making a shooter or a physics-based PvP game or whatever it is, if it's synchronous PvP, most likely, principle I know we've talked about, Milos, is like most likely whatever mode we think is the best is not the best. We should just assume it's not right, and we should assume that we're going to need to test, because whether it takes a year or 6 months to make a product, the world will shift. And we saw that in shooters with like Battle Royale as a new mode, and certain companies pivoting to take advantage of that, and certain ones not, and you could tell the winners and losers. I know we've got to get to some of the questions on the panel, but before we get there, like as a final question to both of you, as I know you've recently started the partnership with AppLovin, I'm curious how that has changed, whether it's soft launch or any aspect, honestly, of your business. Like, what has been the most significant change for you all since joining forces with us and partnering together? And Milos, why don't we start with you on Geewa's end?
I think for me it was very great great pleasure to be part of the family, and not only like in terms of business, also for me personally, because if you are building company in these post-communistic countries like Czech Republic and others, then you are in some way isolated. But what cooperation with AppLovin give us is some like big picture stability, like comparison what are great things which we build here, and what are probably things which we have to improve, and AppLovin can help us. Then this like think big idea, which is now, and we are challenged not only by you but other guys, and think really what this billiard principles, physical based principles PvP games can be. It's something very, very interesting for us, and this is I think this is critical to create. If you invest like some risks, and there is this big stable partner, then also reward can be bigger, and this risk reward principles, I think it's key to succeed in current like free to play mobile game business. Then this is what give us, and I am not talking about something what is key for AppLovin, and this is marketing, and how we can cooperate on scaling our success to different channels, different audiences, and these are most key things to move our business to next level.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. And Alex, so same question to you. Like, how has your decision-making process, or like what's been the biggest impact of partnering with AppLovin for you all, for Belka?
Okay. For Belka, the partnership with AppLovin made us stronger, more confident, because for right now we can afford to take more risk, more research. We can scale more faster. We can afford to buy more audience on the tech launches of launches and so on. So we become more faster, and we already see that it helped us become more successful. So the main thing about partnership with AppLovin is about we can afford to take more risks and move faster. And we really like to be fast. So it's really important.
You all are exceptionally fast. I think you set an example for all the other studios. When we have these kind of discussions internally, I always love to bring up Belka as an example of, oh my gosh, you see how fast these guys move. Why can't you move that fast?
You know,
You know what?
the Belka is about squirrels. So
Yeah. Your symbol matches your activities. That's good. Sometimes it doesn't, right? Especially in tech companies. So you're like, what? And that's really wonderful to hear. I mean, because especially from my end, for AppLovin, I always, I view the strongest assets that we have is our partnerships with you all, and that really like my role is in connecting you all and making sure that you remain independent and learning from each other. So it's great to hear that you all feel that and internalize that. And we can ask, I have lots more questions, but I'm asking Igor now if we're ready for Q&A. Because I think, yeah, we can go there now, or we can keep talking. We could honestly keep talking forever. So
Akit, yeah, we are ready
cool.
for the questions and answers session. So we have some great questions from the audience, and I'm just about to read them out loud right now. So first of all, thanks for great insights and the best practices. I'm just opening the questions now. So the first one is coming from the user of AppLovin Hub called Zuzu. And the question is, how long from soft launch to official launch does it usually take for your teams?
Good question. Milos, why don't you start? So the time.
I think answer is very, very simple. It's not defined by time. It's defined by results, and it's defined by results when our team is capable of running campaigns which are ROAS positive on 1 year basis. Then if our investment to user acquisition is return and predicted return in 1 year, then we can think about global launch. It's not, and I think great example can be also Supercell again, when they have this rule 3 months, global launch it or kill it, and they completely change it during Brawl Stars. And I think in sometimes you are working on something unique which have some longer investment to this soft launch period, but have great result. Then I think it's difficult to judge. It's between, or say, but it's between like three months to like even 16 months or more. But you have to understand, and your KPIs are developed and going to ROAS positivity on 1 year basis.
So kind of highly variable for Milos and Geewa Studio. Alex, how's it in Belka?
We try to reach soft launch within 6 months. So before that, we have much tech launches. But if we talk about soft launch, we try to not to spend more time than 6 months.
6 months until soft launch, or 6 months from start to soft launch, or 6 months within soft launch, or both?
From start to soft launch.
And then how long are you typically in soft launch? I think that was also part of the question.
Usually it's 1 month, maybe 2. Because we do everything we want on the tech stages. So we check everything. So for us, soft launch is like we already know what our product is, and when we already know all the metrics, and we're sure that it will be successful. So
yeah, so it's very, very different principles. I think like what I hear is Belka Studio comes in extremely confident into a soft launch because of all the testing and all of that prior. Milos and Geewa come in with like unknown into a soft launch, and that's a period in which there is significant testing and iteration going on. Cool. I think those are great answers from both of you. Igor, you want to keep going? Do you have more
Yeah,
questions?
thanks a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have another question, a very interesting one from Jithin Rao, and they ask us. I will kind of say it in another way. So there are some metrics for the soft launch, like retention, obviously, which are tracked mostly during this process. So we asked to describe the process of setting the KPIs for the soft launch to track retention and other metrics. Could you please describe the process and how your team works on that? Because the user also is interested in the fact that, for example, in Belka, they have like very complex approach to testing, and in Geewa they do it in some other way. So it's going to be very comprehensive to learn this.
Let me see if I understand it. Are we asking like how does the team decide which metrics are important?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, how Alex, let's start with you on the Belka side first this time. How do you all arrive at the metrics that you look at?
I think it's more according to our previous experience. So we have a really strong analytic departments and a great team which work with our metrics and make analytics about that. But we try to focus on the main metrics. So as I said before, it's engagement, monetization, and scaling. So I don't know. I think many studios do the same, and they check the same metrics, and I think nothing special about that. So
yeah, I think the special part and something that's hard to explain in just a few words in a discussion is that you've learned from all of the efforts and like failures and attempts and learnings. And then I know talking with other studios in the CIS, and especially those that are starting to work with Belka and joining forces with Belka, that like access to this experience and analytics platform that you all have built is of huge value to your potential partners as well. I know that's what they've told me. Milos, on your side, what is the how did you guys arrive at the metrics?
I think I maybe mention one fact which we didn't touch because all these like hard KPIs which we are discussing, looking to how quickly start your app, onboarding, and number of matches leads to this day one retention, and of course there will be little different aspects for different games. But what we are doing also during soft launches, and we are calling it here like pairing left and right side. Left side is something, it's user acquisition. We are acquiring players on some channels in some target audiences, and they behave somehow in the game, and this is the right side. And sometimes some creative works for some target audience and have great results, and in average you don't have great D1 retention. But if you have a look to this audience, then you have great day one retention. Then you asking yourself, okay, why this game resonates to this audience, and why this creative works for this audience? Can we change something on the right side of the game to be widely popular, not only for this audience? And I think also like this pairing left and right side, marketing and product, user acquisition and product, it's very important during soft launch. And maybe you find a way not only strictly look to exact KPIs which we already discussed, but also put some like more big approach to it, what you are developing for the game, what is target audience, what they enjoy in the game. And
that tight integration between marketing and product is something that I see inside of both of your studios and many of the AppLovin family is very strong, and something I'm learning the importance of being part of the family as well. And that's great to hear, Milos. Igor, we have more questions. I know I want to try and get to as many of them as possible before we're over, so we can
Yeah,
talk faster
sure.
too.
Thanks a lot for the answers. And we do have more questions,
Great.
guys, from the chats. You are awesome. Thanks for posting them. So the next one is, we have a question from some fresh game developer, as they describe themselves. So they need some help and proper expertise with monetization. So how should they do? Find any person to hire internally, or look for any other kind of cooperation with some companies or maybe some consultancy? What would be your advice here?
Milos, why don't you start on this one? What would you advise around monetization for fresh developers?
This is very tough one, yeah. Frankly, I will be completely open here. We try many expertise from outside the company, and never works. And of course, there is some advices which helps you, but without having this expertise inside your team, I think, and in free-to-play games, I think it's impossible. You have to, this guy has to be a part of the team. This is recommendation number one. And if you don't have this guy, this can be overlapped by somehow who is close to it. And frankly, I recommend to start with deconstruction of other games, because there is a lot of things which you can learn, you can implement, and can give you some money to start to develop something bigger. Then we mentioned this many times. Then monetization is last on this KPI funnel logic. But this doesn't mean then we are not thinking about monetization on the beginning. We are focusing on the monetization on the end, improve it. But on the beginning, we have ideas how this game will monetize. Then my recommendation, definitely have monetization guy in the team, and look to the construction and develop the skills internally with good analytical tool is from my perspective must for free-to-play game developer.
Yeah, I agree. Alex, what do you recommend?
I totally agree with Milos, and actually, I don't anything to add to Milos. I recommend the same. I really don't believe in. You should nobody know your product like your team is. So
Yeah. I completely agree with all of you, and even having done some of that outside consulting before, I will further reinforce that having somebody part of the team absolutely necessary, and that why not start deconstructing other games using what they know. I'd also say that in the current atmosphere in which video games industry is exceptionally strong in the world, right now, and investment dollars and exits are all very competitive right now, that if you make a great game and it has great retention, and you only have okay monetization, this is okay. This is actually a good place to be in today's market. Come talk to us, come talk to many publishers and acquirers out there. I'm sure we'd be very interested, or platform holders, etc. If you have a game with poor retention, doesn't matter. Like if people don't like your game, they don't enjoy, they don't engage with it, you're not going to make it better by getting a smaller segment to spend more money. You're not going to monetize your way out of a poorly retaining game. That's my advice to a fresh developer.
Thank you very much, Keith. This was a kind of great finishing line for the panel discussion, isn't it? Alexandr, Milos, thank you for the greatest insights. It was very interesting to listen to you too. I hope you guys from the audience, you had your pencils ready to write many things down. We do have a few more questions on the lectures chat. So guys, if you have a few minutes, please go to winhub.io to talk with the audience right now. And dear audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Keith, AppLovin team. thank you very much for coming for today's panel.
Thank you all.
Sure.
Thank you, Igor. Thank you, White Knights. Thank you, audience. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.